Fast forward from 1968, when Orie's first daughter, Elizabeth Rogo, was born, to March 31st, 2014, when she got married to her Ghanaian sweetheart, Nana Agyemen, at the All Saints Cathedral. Dignitaries, together with other guests, attended this prestigious and studded occasion that was a melting point of cultures as Kenyan, West African, and Western cultures that came alive in their accents, music, as well as attires. Regretting getting married at an early age, Ambassador Orie had always drummed it in her children to establish their careers first before tying the knot. This fact, together with the failure of her mother's first marriage, made Elizabeth Rogo, her first daughter, who's now a gas and oil engineer, delay in taking this step despite the fact that there was already a suitable suitor.
My girls are not, all of them, 3 days in mom, marriage, you went through hell. You don't want to go through that. But I kept encouraging them. I've always told my children, Mom, everybody has their script to write. I said, that was my script, that was my book. You must also write your book so you can read it. And I had a happy childhood. Not wealthy, not rich. My parents were primary school teachers, but we had a beautiful, peaceful, and happy home. Orderly and clean and loving. So I said, marriages, I therefore knew that marriages can be happy. I saw my father and mother very happily married, and marriages don't have to be like that.
Getting married, I never saw myself getting married at all. I was very comfortable, being by myself, but I think there's some times when you realize, hey, it'd be nice to have somebody to talk to. You can't tell everything to your mother.
Elizabeth and Nana met in Canada, where they were both pursuing their studies in different colleges. Due to her career and witnessing her mother's bitter marriage, Elizabeth was not interested in dating from the onset, and it took the intervention of the Iron Lady for Elizabeth to finally say yes to Nana, who was now already falling in love with her.
Well, I used to call her and ask about Liz, because Liz wouldn't return my phone calls. And Mom would talk to Liz, and Liz would get so upset.
And I vowed if he was the last man on earth, I would never marry him. Honestly, that's how I felt.
But, But I wore her down, and here we are.
Elizabeth told him, forget. I'm just started work and I'm building my career, and I'll be traveling a lot, I'm not interested. Finished. And Nana called me and said, Mom, Liz won't even allow me to finish a sentence when I'm trying to propose to her, and I'm interested in Liz. Said, Nana, just keep trying. What can I say?
One day it just clicked. When you looked around, the dating scene is not easy. And I didn't even have time to date, to tell you the truth. And then you look around and you realize this is somebody who understands what you're doing, somebody you've known for a long time. Better that person than trying to find somebody who doesn't understand what you're doing.
Their wedding, which was characterized by opulence and extravagance, attracted media attention as well as criticism. First, Elizabeth was apparently criticized for abandoning the conventional white gown.
I said, no, you need to see something before you start critiquing and understand where the dress from. The dress is not gray, first of all. So it showed to me you have no idea what you're talking about, She was so flustered. She kept apologizing. Oh, my producers, oh, whatever. She said, well, the producer must have. And she said, oh, but it's just, media. I said, no, if you're going to report properly. I'm not saying you have to like my dress. It seemed to cause more of a upheaval than I thought, but really I don't care. You know what I mean?
I will not forget that image when she walked out of her room, walking towards the limousine, and Nico was holding the tray. I was wondering, who is that? Because it's supposed to be the best maid holding the tray. But here there's this guy, and I'm thinking, is she having a guy for her best maid? She is not a conventional bride. that moment is like many Kenyans reacted to the dress. I don't think any one of us anticipated that she's going to be pulling out this number. So for me, that was quite memorable.
I've had a sense about the reaction of the people because when myself and the groomsmen, when we arrived at church, I did not anticipate the number of people that were there. There were a lot of cameras. There were several film crews there. And there was a lot of people just waiting for us. So I was like, wow, this is going to be big. Actually, we knew going into the reception, when we were walking out of church, there were people telling us that they saw our wedding on TV. And I was like, the wedding just ended. How did you see it on TV? But apparently it was being broadcast live while we were in church.
Yes. With no idea.
And we had no idea.
Second, the media alleged that her mother demanded to be chauffeured around in a limo that was only reserved for the newlyweds.
I was angry about it, and we met the photographer who took the picture to try and build up on his story, and he apologized. His name was Elvis. And we said that was wrong. If you're going to report the truth. Okay, if that's what really happened, then I guess you could have reported it for publicity, but it did not happen.
They have no idea what sacrifices we made in this family for each other and with each other. They have no idea. This kid used to go hungry in the cafeteria so I could eat because he said, Mom, I can go without food and money, but you can't in this cold weather. You can't go without food.
Third, it is a custom in most weddings that the groom unveils the bride, but in this case, Elizabeth settled to honor her mother by letting her unveil her.
And I know that has also been a bone of contention, and that was me who asked my mother to do that. Traditionally, it wasn't correct. And I said, don't worry about tradition, that it should have been Nana, the groom should have unveiled me. She's the one who raised me. So I wasn't looking for anyone to take that role. No, my father didn't come. He was given a card, but he didn't come. We don't have a relationship. I mean, we've been seeing him, but it's not a big deal. I've not grown with my father, so it's not a big deal. So to try and turn around, even at that stage, to say, hey, Dad, you want to take me down the aisle, to me, that was all fake.
It would have been a beautiful occasion to show him that he's a bastard of the highest order. And I've stopped the bishop from the ceremony, told the bishop, stop. Iko kadudu mimi nataka toa hapo. Ndio tuendelee. And I told the bishop, he was aware, but he wanted to come.
When Elizabeth's father married me, when I walked in, the whole of Kishiland they went wild. I shook them. That is how. We are sure when a war enters Bompata and Accra, there will be a national holiday.
And I want Nana and Liz to put God at the center of your marriage. Ambassador Orie, you and I will leave Nana and Liz to live their lives.
Though they've had a bit of ups and downs here and there, they can confidently say that theirs is a happy ever after. Nevertheless, despite the fact that this is a norm for women to take up their husband's last name, Elizabeth Rogo has apparently not changed her last.
Elizabeth Orio Rogo. It's never been an issue. Nana's very comfortable with my name. I'm comfortable with his name. You know, I'm his wife, and I don't think changing my name has to mean that I'm his wife.
Well, for me, I call her Rogo. When she calls me, I answer the phone, I say, Rogo, how are you doing? I just have fun with it. To me, it doesn't really matter whether she does or not. I mean, it's if she wants to, she can, but you know, she's part of my family, and I'm part of hers, and that's what matters.
Most men would shy off from marrying a strong, independent woman, but Mr. Agyemen has a different perspective about strong women since a tough mother too raised him.
I have a very wonderful wife You know, and I think men shouldn't be scared of strong women. I think we should celebrate them. You know, because they contribute a lot to society. She has a very different perspective from me. You know, so I think that's why the two of us, we gel so well. Because I think very differently. You know, sometimes I'm stuck in my ways. I might think a certain way, and she would bring a different perspective. I'm like, wait a minute, why didn't I think about that? You know, and it's the same with her. You know, she comes and asks me for advice on certain things, you know, because she knows that I'll give her the other side. I'm not scared to tell her the truth. You know, I'll tell her this is the way it is. And she will think about it and she'll be like, yeah, you know what, it's right. You know, and she'll make some adjustments. So I think, you know, men shouldn't be scared of strong women. You know, because once you get to know them, you'll find out that, you know, they're just like any other woman.
It's true. No, it's true. He's really taught me how to decompress. I never used to do that. Okay. Yeah.
She's actually quite soft inside. You know, you just have to know how to bring it out. My mother is the first of, I believe, give or take, maybe 3 or 4 of maybe about 36 siblings. My grandfather was the chief of the town that we came from. She was an educator, and she raised us very well. She taught us to respect our women and be nice to them.
But she's a matriarch in her own right.
Yes.
Yeah.
On her side of the family, she's helped raise a lot of her siblings. You know, help them to get to where they are now, and a lot of them come to her for advice on a lot of different things. Yes.
The first 6 months were difficult for Elizabeth because Nana worked in Houston in the oil business while she remained in Kenya. Consequently, she was caught between fulfilling the society's expectation that she quit her job and fly all the way to Houston, or remain in Kenya and continue working.
We have a long-distance marriage because Nana still lives in Houston. So the first 6 months, I think, were difficult. I would say on my side. Maybe more guilt, you know. Society expects you as the woman to uproot and follow your husband. But, you know, my career is very important, as well as, of course, Nana. And, you know, he assured me, you know, do what you need to do. Because if you just come to Houston, just because I'm there, I know you'll be miserable. Wow. And I did try. I mean, I did try. But I'm meant to be here for a reason.
Yes, you know, both of us, we go back and forth. And it's been, I'm not going to say it's been easy, but it's always nice. You know, when I come here, it's definitely a change of pace for me. I get to just relax and enjoy myself. You know, and I really enjoy coming to Kenya. You know, it's very different from being in Houston. Everything is so structured. You know, when you come here, you know, the pace is a bit slower and you can just kick back and just enjoy. And everybody here has been wonderful. Everybody is nice.
But if I may say, it's hard for him to make that jump. Yeah, he should be moving here.
I work in manufacturing in oil and gas. Yes.
Because that's more downstream than where I work. I work upstream. I'm in the drilling sector. So anything to do with drilling of wells, be they onshore, offshore, is what I'm involved in.
My company that I work for, we build those tools. Okay. Yeah. Well, we talk several times a day. So that doesn't make it as difficult as it is, yes. Liz and I have very good communication, so that helps a lot.
I mean, I'd say, first of all, we had a conversation. If a marriage is ordained by God, it should prosper. And I truly believe this marriage was ordained by him. The fact that we took forever. And so a lot of these issues that people may think of, jealousy, or if you're worried if somebody's faithful, honestly speaking, doesn't exist. Because when we got married, we told each other this is what we wanted. So there's no fear of anyone coming in between. And as he said, communication. I think you're a better communicator than me, to be truthful. He's quiet, but he knows how to communicate. And we'll always, whenever we wake up, we speak to each other, FaceTime, sorry, and before we go to bed every day. It depends now with the job. I think I'm getting to a point now, I'll have to be transferring out. So hopefully it'll be back to Houston. That's where I came out of. So we'll wait and see. With the way the oil industry is, it's been very difficult. So we're more or less staying put. We'll see what next year brings, but that is my wish. But for now, I love Nairobi, you know. Yes, I love Nairobi. I think Houston for me has become very too commercialized for me. In fact, when I go back, it's just shopping and I'm ready to leave. 2 weeks, I'm ready to get out of there. Mm-hmm. You know, yeah. Nairobi has its challenges, don't get me wrong.
We asked Elizabeth whether Nana's home in Houston is still a bachelor's pad.
It's like a bachelor pad.
She put her touch on that. She did.
It's like it's like a bachelor pad.
She, first of all, she's a very good decorator. So she decides to change things around. I really don't mind. And actually it makes it more comfortable. You know, because you know us guys, we don't need a lot of things. We're, you know, very little things make us happy. So we're good with that. But she came and, you know, changed things, furniture, decorations, you know, just to make it look, you know, instead of a bachelor pad, more of a home. You know, she gave it some warmth. That's what.
You know, just like to coordinate, you know, duvets, towels, you know what I mean? Yeah, pictures. Brought in a lot of African art, you know that I love African art. So I'm always carrying something with me. A new piece. When he comes here, we buy new African pieces, you know, so he takes back with him. Well, I know you've been looking at my pieces. A lot of them have taken me a while to collect. I'd say within the last, this lot that I have here is within the last 3 years. A lot of my pieces come out of Uganda. And just what I selected, I spent my weekend, I think we discussed this before, used to spend my weekend in very horrible, dusty places, picking pieces that didn't look like what they look like now. I'd have to get them, you know, refurbished or whatever. And I've not had time in Kenya at all to be really hunting around for pieces. I managed to get a few, but I've kind of stopped right now. Just because of work. No, just work.
Their long-distance relationship has also taught them to enjoy each other's company, despite the fact that they apparently have arguments like most couples do.
Everything. She just loves to argue. She can argue about the color of this light bulb. Seriously, and she always has to be right.
No, that's not true. Not true. Well, I've learned one thing. I've learned to be more patient, definitely, in this marriage. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I think even somebody commented, I'm much calmer, and have to learn to sometimes just let some things ride over my back. And I think it's good because then he really understands what I'm going through as well, you know. I think it's true. I think even if you're living together, I'm still a big believer in you must have your own space somehow. Even if it's your space in your house or a space, you have to find a way to have your own little space, to be given that space. True or false?
She loves the TV.
No.
Yes, because she's always arguing with me that I'm hogging the TV, and she wants to watch her shows.
I'm not a big TV. He likes sports. He watches a lot of Formula One. So I'll sit there and watch with him. I'm more of an iPad. I'm an iPad geek. I love my iPad, you know. But I still think that there's space. So yes, so we're apart. But I think it's good for us to have sometimes that space. And I think it's made us stronger because we don't what's the word?
Take each other for granted.
Yes, yeah. That's it. I think it took me quite a while, especially when we got married, to be able to tell my bosses, hey, I need to take off and spend some time, go back to Houston and spend some time with my husband, or if my husband is here, spend some time with him because I'm a workaholic. So I've had to learn that. And sometimes my own boss has had to tell me, hey, it's time for you to go home, go and spend time with your husband, you know?
For these two lovebirds, the issue of finances has apparently not yet become a challenge, and they each run their own accounts separately.
I still think we we do manage, but we kind of live independently. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes, we live independently, I would say.
Yeah, everybody just manages their own.
But we're looking at doing some projects. Yes, things, yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, because we don't want to be working for other people forever. So we're looking at what we can establish, and then we'll have our own business.
Everyone's managing their household. I mean, we'll still do things, you know, things together. But yeah, more or less everyone's managing their household.
And as for their plans of having children, well...
I'll just make a comment. We said steer away from the big question. But anyway...